So we've made it through the Go Rush Festival, the final competitive event for Duel Links for 2025, meaning it's time for our final ban list of the year, and this one should be pretty big. Now, it is mostly going to be rush duel stuff, but I'm told there are some speed things, which probably is going to be the Dino FTK getting nerfed, I would imagine. Probably some leftovers that they haven't really caught yet, given the last two ban lists were mainly FTK ones, so I'd imagine that's the case. And also, we've got some skills being changed too on January the 9th. So I'm going to go through the cards first of all, as usual, and then hopefully there'll be some good skill balancing. Now, in terms of rush speed, obviously we've had a ban list, post KC Cup already, and so I think it's just going to be, FTK stuff. Rush though, I want to see hits to Muser Princess, hits to Joint Tech, circulation. You've got to do something about that, right? And there's not much else really. I think overall JRF was a bit of a diverse format. That can all be fixed by 8,000 life points. Copium, never gonna happen, but it'd be cool if it did. So let's dive into our balance first of all with Speed Duel. Ooh, Super Conductor Round going to 1, Respect Plate to 1, and Thousand Eyes Jellyfish going to 1. Okay, this one I've not seen, but again, it's one of those cards that does work with like skills, turning them off because it's got to be revealed. Okay, that's fine. Respect Plate, again, was an ally from the last ban list. This one was the main culprit for being like a really good FTK on ladder, right, going first or second. It was really, really good, so definitely deserved to be hit, but also, could we not have just, done half burn damage on a global scale, right, for these cards? Obviously, for these ones, it's a bit more difficult, but then we've got Snapdragon, which I believe was playing a Chimera, right, being a hand rip, in addition to the one they've already got. So, that was kind of nasty, I'd imagine. And also Jormungandr. So this was also a burn card doing 3,000 damage. Okay, forgot his cards in the game, but of course FTK shenanigans made this a thing. So again, good it's been hit, but yeah, just for Speed Duel, it's kind of expected, right? The balance is going to be mainly FTK stuff, and it's quite funny to look at. Then going on to Limit 2s, okay, is Ceruli, so again, more Dark Order FTK stuff. And anything else, we've got Elephant Design. I was wondering where this was, right? Because this one was kind of the main figurehead of actually finalizing those FTKs. And now, of course, it's Limit 2. I don't know why I wouldn't put Limit 1, right? Just like get over and done with, like everything else. But I guess in their infinite wisdom, being a 2 is probably going to be fine. Then moving on to no Limit 3s, but unlims, Tachyon Transmigration. Obviously a deck that was very scary back in 2024, but right now, not doing too much, this is probably fine, right? We've then got Whirlwind, again, Dragoonity's not done anything at all, so this is probably fine to have it unlimited, and Corkshooter is interesting. I'm not sure this is it before, but this is also probably fine, right? Speedroids, again, have done really nothing lately, so that's fine. And that's all for Speed Duel. Now, for me personally, the more interesting things, and the things I think are going to be more format warping, is Rush Duel. So, let's see. First of all, we've got no bans, which, makes sense, right? Limit 1, go Cyclone to 1. Okay, so this is really, really big. This card was so annoying, right? Obviously, if you're on ladder, you're mainly going to see this in 7's Road, right? They always open their turn 1 play, they play this, pop a card, draw a card, and somehow they've got 2, and then they start their combo off and end on Charming Witch and a 7's Paladin, and they can kill you in that turn. This card, being so powerful and giving you so much advantage over your opponent, is really, really frustrating to play against. And obviously, trap cards are, already a bit of a dime, a bit of a rarity in Rush Duel Links, and so this card now going means your trap holes, your shadies, your ridings, they're going to resolve more often than not. It does mean that now you are more incentivized to play like the actual archetype ones, right? Like Dragon's Inferno, or the Galactic Storm, etc, etc. Bloom 1 means it also clashes with Polygreed, with Compulsory, which kind of means it's like a ban, right? Because no one in their right mind is choosing this over those two, or over an archetypal card. So actually, kind of is like being banned, in that sense, from like most decks. Then we've got Shieldborn Kong going to 1. I did not expect this to be the limit they went with on Joint Tech. Obviously, this was really good with Curse of Rising Light, but also it does work to remove Pot of Greed from that deck, and so that does decreased consistency, but the skill already was so good, and the deck already was really good about, milling cards and then adding them back from your graveyard to your hand. And so I think that with this at 1 and Pog at 1, you cut Bog Reed, you go for, a Hammer Shot, or you go for a Pod of Avarice, maybe. You play one of this, and then you play Intricate Golem, right? Instead of playing 1 or 2 of this, because already in the GRF we were seeing people playing more than 1 of this, and so it is, in some builds, enough, right? In terms of the core count of main deck bosses you've got. However, for me personally, I wanted to see Leo. I wanted to see the Stecker Silas. Something happened with those two to just, reduce the bullshittery. But we'll see how this does, right? We'll see how this does. Then we've got straight Pierce going to 1 as well. Now, again, this also removes, this ban list is just cutting Pot of Greed, right? At the moment, it is removing Pot of Greed from Joint Tech, from Princess, but that's about it, right? Again, they can replace that with things like Returning Alive, right? So that by itself doesn't really change that much for that deck's power level. And of course, at the moment, they also got Circulation. So you are now more incentivized, I guess, to play the hero build to kind of make up for the lack of Pot of Greed. Not sure I'm a big fan of personally, that is all for Limit 1s. Limit 2, probably where we might see Circulation, if not Limit 3. Let's see. We've got Dark Hole Device going Limit 2. This one was the biggest kind of obvious thing to happen. I think everyone kind of wanted this, to have Dark Galaxy be a thing again, be the Void Veil, come back and be pretty good. So, overall, good, good one. And this is also the only thing at Limit 2. So, Limit 3s, let's see. We've got no longer on the list. Are we really not in Circulation? And nothing else. I guess on the one hand, right, if we're trying to rationalize things, right, the event, the GRF, was diverse. Right? There was 3 or 4 decks, the format, right, even 5 or 6, you can say at a stretch, right, that were doing pretty well. And looking at this, I think the most worst off is 7's Row technically, because this card was really integral for that deck. For other decks, it was just fine, it was there, it was a good bonus, but for that deck in particular, it was really big. Yeah, that's, maybe there's some skill nerfs, right, that make things a bit different for, I don't know. Red Boot going to on Limb, which is kind of interesting because they've removed Pot of Greed from these two, and they've just gone and given it back to to Blue Fang, to High Tech, which is an OTK deck. They must really like Rush Duel Duel Links being OTK format. That's all I can, even Dark Hole Device as well. In the same vein, could be seen as that as well, depending on how good your draws are for the rest of the turn. Then we've got Phoenix Dragon. So this now means that Dragius is alone in that deck at Limit 3, right? So again, kind of bringing more OTKs to the format, and also you can play this in baseball as well, but it's also technically an OTK deck. I can kind of see where KONAMI going now. They really do I like this. I like this. This is pretty good. However, I've just realised, right? That now that Ghost Cyclone's at 1, the only real generic card at Limit 3, really, is the new Overrush Storm. Worm Excavator is, again, really big, but there's nothing else in Limit 3 that will clash right now, so I don't think it really mattered to bring it back right now. I'd imagine we're getting a Drago, and I imagine we'll see the Dino one as well. There is a Drago, and the Dino one. There's no way. There's no way we're bringing back these two, but we're not bringing back Dynamix. Come on. Okay, this is a meme. This has been limited since release, and did it deserve it? Probably not. Is it going to be played now? Of course it's not. We've then got Secret Order going to Unlimited from 3, I believe. That could potentially be scary. I'm just trying to think, what decks really does it matter in, right? You've got your baseball deck for summoning out the Inferno Dragon, right? Doesn't matter. There's no Limit 3s you're running. You've got Galaxy, of course, playing through this anyway, so again, doesn't really matter. Neos builds, playing 2-2 of this, but again, there was no limit 3s. So this doesn't really matter. Okay, Climb Comeback is cool, that's perfectly fine. Again, Galaxy has that skill nerf, so they're still not going to be back to full power, but they're going to be pretty good. You know, that which is always cool to see. And Void Corridor. Does that... We've still got the Trancer, right? I think that the Trancer is still on the ban list, and of course so is Crassior. But I think we can now go back to playing Chaos Galaxy, which was kind of cool, right? And of course now we've got Executive Riding, we've got Shiny Shady, and so I think overall, things might be a bit different for the format overall. So like I mean, the hits are good, right? Like objectively, this is like the best change on this list by far. But I feel like I wanted more. You know, like there's definitely a feeling of wanting circulation, something with that. That is one of the most powerful draw spells we've got in Duel Links. It's so splashable right now. And I wonder if, because we are going into a period where we expect to not be getting much for Rush Duel, right? We're going into Anniversary in 3 weeks' time. It's mainly going to be Speed, right? Speed or Structure Deck, Selection Box, etc. We've got a main box coming News Day. And probably then as a mini box later in the month. All for Speed Duel. February, we kind of assume to be Rush Duel, given the last 2 years, right? So I imagine that it's kind of a mix of the format being quite varied right now, with multiple good decks, and also the fact that there's probably not much coming out they really want to sell you on. Like, if there was a brand new box coming out, then I think things have been different, but because we don't think there will be one, right, based on the last 2 years, there might be a deck build coming in early January, or a structure deck or something, but in general, those haven't really been that great. So we'll have to wait and see. But it's a real mixed bag. Right? It's a real mixed bag. Let's go to the skill zone and see what's happening. Going to be going live on the 9th of PvP, and then the app update is mandatory on my birthday. Which, okay, could be pretty fitting. Let's see what they've got in store, right? So, Makura getting a nerfed, very, very good. All of these skills getting buffed, I imagine. All the Cyber skill here as well. That's cool. And then Gearstar F Charge also getting a buff. That one I'm not too looking forward to, but we'll see what kind of happens. So Makura is going to restrict the burn damage to basically not happen. Lightspeed D-Draw is getting a first and second effects once per duel rather than once per duel on both and one effect per turn. So you can now use both in the same turn, but once per duel still, it's a good buff. Right, it is a straight buff, there is no negative here, that's a good thing, and I assume this is all going to be the same, right? So Dark Magic is going to be identical, Blue Eye Dragons is identical, Divine Healing is identical, Third Eye Destiny Draw is identical, Spirit's identical, the Battlemorph one is identical, Vermilion Sparrow is identical. This one is the Flu one, right? The Flu skill. So that's actually that's probably one of the big ones here. Maybe this one and this one, right? The Baron one could be pretty big. D-Draw Link to the Dragon Knight is also getting the same thing, and it gives you a Blossom Dragon for free rather than having to put it in your deck. That's a pretty solid change. Now, you have still got to play BLS in your deck, right? But that's okay. I think with this skill in particular, most people kind of playing it for the second one, right? Like that draw 2. So we'll see how things change there with that one. God's Chosen one giving us a draw 2, so basically become Pot of Greed, which is, you know, funny anime reference, but not going to really do too much probably. Like, this skill wasn't that great anyway to begin with. Mekanko's Grand Stage getting a restriction to special summon from the extra deck and the graveyard rather than extra deck, which I guess was because they're the spell card that brings a card back that, again, like last bounce, I think with Liberancers, I think it was, they messed up and forgot a bit of a key part of the deck in the skill. So I imagine it's fixing that, which is, you know, which is good. Then we've got Cyber Dragon for Rush, and that is a pretty decent change overall, right? So you can now play a Pro Cyber Dragon, and you gain more attack points. However, at the moment, if you face against an Mimi playing Aquas, this skill gets turned off because that debuffs all your cards. And so I would have preferred this to say original attack because it would have been unplayable. Nothing's been changed to make it a bit more unfair, right? Because at the moment, it's a very fair 1-for-1 shuffle back to add one card, right? And so compared to so many other skills in Rush Duel and Duel Links, it's still not really where I want it to be. But you know, getting a buff for Cyber Dragon is always appreciated, and so hopefully it can be better, but I guess in the current metagame, it is gonna struggle given there is one really, really bad matchup that just kind of shuts it down entirely. And finally, Gear Star F Charge, which is going to make it so that you can now recur the dragon as many times as you want. So that's one more card for free every turn, basically, which, again, this skill is just kind of an OTK skill. Good changes overall, skill-wise, right? I'll take that. Card-wise, again, good stuff, but I think a bit underwhelming. Removing Pot of Greed could be enough to make things have a meaningful difference. I don't think it will. I think that you're still going to see Music Princess be the generally accepted best deck, this being a close second probably, or maybe flip-flopping or whatever. Yeah, it's a weird one. It's a weird ban list. I feel like a lot of people are going to be like, worst circulation, and rightfully so. Or we get a selection box coming in mid-January for Rush Duel, and they give us some bonker stuff, and it power creeps the meta entirely. Who knows at this point? Who knows? But again, tomorrow-ish, tomorrow plus a couple of hours, is Jump Festa 2025. Meaning we should be hearing about the Duel Links anniversary, the Newsday main box, as we have done the last 3, 4, 5 years, right? So if it's not there, that'd be kind of worrying, but it should be. You know, it really should be. So expect a video tomorrow, probably going through all of that, and hopefully it's some, fingers crossed, it's some really big stuff. Give me a reason to come back to Speed Duel, KONAMI, please. Anyway, thanks for watching, leave your thoughts down below, adios.